Hello dear crypto friends and welcome to today's video. Today with a bit of a different background because I'm on vacation, but that doesn't stop me from making daily updates with what is happening in this crazy crypto market. So let us start right away. Bitcoin in the weekly chart, right? We have loaded the long-term logarithmic trend channel. And what do we see, friends? We see something that is not very nice. As I have feared in my last video from yesterday, I have said the likelihood for me is not very high that this has been the bottom and we are going through the moving average of 200 weeks, which you see here in blue, like it was not even there. We are going through it like it doesn't even exist, which of course is, as you can imagine, not an amazing sign. So let us try to find out again what is possibly going to happen. How low are we going? Are we going to go much lower? What are the possible targets? And when can we expect a reversal to finally happen? Now, if we look at the volume, if we load the volume bars, the volume is not looking too bad, right? I mean, we are now at half the volume of this dump here, which was previously the highest volume in recent history, where the volume bar was almost as high as in March 2020, and now it's Wednesday and we are already at half the volume that we have seen in this previous dump here in the week from the 9th to the 16th of May, right? So the volume is looking pretty nice, but what is not looking nice is that we are going through the weekly moving average 200 like it was not even there, and this has only happened a few times in history, as we can see. This has happened, of course, famously in March 2020, where we touched the moving average 290, which you can see in the light blue line here, the moving average 290. Back then it was sitting at $3,900 and now it's sitting at $17,000. And this also happened twice in 2015. In the insane bear market of 2015, we can see that we hit through the moving average of 200 weeks twice, like it was not even there. But both times it was pushed back and then we found support around the area of the moving average 200. So we can hope that something similar would happen, right? That we now go through the moving average 200, we go down to the area of the moving average 290, we get a nice bounce, we wobble around the area of the moving average 200 and then we recover, and at some point we start going upwards again. Now let us go into the 4-hour chart, and the 4-hour chart also does not look too much better, I have to say. We have already made a new low today. We went below this last low, and I said yesterday already in the video, friends, the probability that this has been the low for me is not very high because we didn't have the strong signs of a reversal occurring. For example, if we load the volume bars in the 4-hour chart, we can see the red bars are all insanely high and the only two green bars do not have a real high buying volume yet. So the selling volume is much higher than the buying volume. And that of course means that prices are more likely to go down further as opposed to bouncing strongly. Because in a strong bounce, if we would now see a strong reversal taking place, that would mean that the buying volume, the green bars, would be higher than the red bars. And that is what we ideally want to see in a strong reversal. But we do not see this happening, friends. We just don't see it. If we look at the Bollinger Band, it is still super deformed. It is super deformed. And the lower bound of the Bollinger Band is now already at 19,400. So this is the area where we can expect strong support. But it can of course go through the area of lower support. So we shouldn't be surprised if in the course of this day, yes, in the course of today, friends, we pierce down and go into the area of 17 to 18K. We shouldn't be surprised if something like that happens, because if we go back into the weekly chart, we do see, friends, that the weekly moving average of 290 weeks now sits exactly at $17,000, which has historically always acted as insanely strong support. This has happened in March 2020, and this has happened also in 2015. If the moving average 290 would have existed, it would have been hit perfectly in August 2015. So this is the ultra strong long-term support, the moving average 290 weeks. I have still some trouble imagining that we are going below the moving average 290. I still think that 17,000 is the most likely target for this dump. But of course, friends, if we look at this long-term trend channel here, let me just deactivate the moving averages. If we just look at the long-term historic logarithmic channel which Bitcoin has been following since 2010, we see that it has respected this channel time and time again, and we see that it tends to gravitate towards the upper bounds in the bull markets, touches the red line, and it touches the green line in the bear markets, which has happened a few times actually, here in 2012 and then in 2015 and then in the March 2020 low. So we could, in theory, go even below the weekly moving average 290, and that would now be at precisely $15,000. So we shouldn't be surprised if the low is actually even lower than $17,000, even lower than the weekly moving average of 290 weeks. We should not despair and then start crying or something if we go to 15,000. Now, is it possible that we go even lower? It's always probabilities, friends. So the more extreme a value is in Bitcoin, the lower the probability. If I say now next week Bitcoin will be at $100,000, it is not absolutely impossible, but the probability is of course incredibly low. Or if I say tomorrow the price will be at $10,000, it is not impossible, but the probability is of course incredibly low. So the more extreme a price prediction is, of course, consequently, the lower the likelihood that it will happen. So it is not impossible that we hit $13,000, which for me represents the absolute most incredible low that in my opinion we could achieve right now, because we have this super long-term green support line. Like really historic support line, friends. This model is really quite good, and it goes back all the way to 2010. Okay, we have this model and it has been working really nicely since 12 years now, has been respected time and time again. So even if we dip below this support band, it will not be for long. Okay, in the most extreme scenario, I really just see it going to 13,000, but then we get a strong rebound, like I'm talking a super strong rebound, and then we will immediately stabilize again above this green support line, and then at some point we might even really go directly into a new rally, or stabilize, go sideways for a longer period of time, and then go into the next rally when the next bull market gets stronger, which is of course in 2024. Why in 2024? Because in March, is it March or April, May? I think between March and May 2024, there's the next Bitcoin halving. So the Bitcoin halvings, we know, are always strong initiators of Bitcoin price appreciation. That has always been historically the case. So worst case scenario, friends, we now go down to this area of this green line here. Of course, plus minus a few hundred, as I said. If it is 14,000 or if it is 13,700, that is also near this line here, which is at 15,000. So of course, always within a margin of error, right? And then we could rebound, we wobble around for a while, and then in 2024 we then go into the next insane bull market. Or of course it could still happen. It is not excluded, friends. It is not excluded. That is the beautiful thing, that we are actually doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and wave 4. Okay, this would be a pretty strong wave 4 correction, I have to say. It would be pretty brutal, but it is not impossible. It is not excluded by Elliott wave theory that we could go as low and then still go into a new rally. And from this low that we are doing right now, so if we just really go down to 15,000-ish, plus minus a few hundred, as I said, we could actually rebound and directly go into a new rally. This would be an insane surprise to many. This would be like, wow, how is such a thing even possible? but it is not excluded by any fundamental principle, friends. Therefore, I think the probability that this happens is not insanely low. And now while I'm recording, actually we are making new lows. It is happening as I feared, friends, as I did fear. This bounce last time was just not impressive enough. We saw that the buying volume was just not good enough yet. The strength of the bounce was also not good enough, so we are really going lower. And the next big support, as I said, will be, friends, the weekly moving average of 290 weeks. Let me just draw it again. So now that the MA200 is just broken through, like it was not even there, this will be the next area of support at 17,000. And if that should also fail, then, as I said, 15,000-ish plus minus a few hundred will be the super ultra long-term support. And by the way, today in the afternoon Eastern time, there's the next Fed meeting. So expect the announcement of interest rate hikes, and normally this is for the dollar index bullish, but this is in this case a sell the news type of situation, okay? Buy the rumor, sell the news is always the tested strategy in trading. Here I have opened the weekly chart of the dollar index. We see the dollar index has been in a parabolic uptrend since, well, early 2021. So for 1.5 years now, the dollar is pumping, and is reaching now levels that we have seen last 20 years ago. But we can see that it is making a bearish divergence. It is making higher highs here, whereas the RSI is making lower highs. So if we are lucky, today in the afternoon when the Fed announces interest rate hikes, we have a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. And if we are lucky, the dollar index will actually dump today. So it could happen that until today in the evening, European time, afternoon Eastern American time, that Bitcoin will dump, that stocks will dump, and that the dollar index will pump. And then at the announcement, the dollar index will brutally start dumping and Bitcoin will suddenly start pumping out of nowhere, and we will have reached the bottom. I don't know how low Bitcoin will go until then, but we are now in the end phase, in my opinion, of this Bitcoin dump, because it cannot go on for much longer. We see that the historical weekly RSI is reaching ridiculously low values. Like, we are making new historical lows. Look at this. We are now at 26. This is the lowest the weekly RSI has ever been. This is a new record low. So we are not dumping for much longer. I think we will see the low this week, and if we are lucky, we will see the low today, near the time of the Fed announcement of interest rate hikes. And I wouldn't be surprised if then the dollar starts dumping and Bitcoin has reached the low and starts pumping. But of course, that is quite a few hours away, and until then, I have no trouble imagining, friends, that we will still drop a few thousand to 17,000, and if we are lucky, we get a rebound and then we stabilize and go higher again. And of course, I don't have to tell you that this is probably one of the most amazing or best situations where you could buy coins ever. This is a chance one gets, like, on average once every 4 years. I'm not even exaggerating, once every 4 years. So everything is on sale now. All coins are on sale. One can just buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, like, just shop, just like everything is on sale. I mean, I'm buying. I will never tell you what you should do, of course, because I'm not giving financial advice. You should always do your own research before buying, of course, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. But I personally am telling you that I am filling my bags right now with so-called cheap coins. Friends, that was it today. Tomorrow, of course, I will make a new update video, and I hope my prediction will come true that we will see the low today and we will get a strong rebound today when the Fed announces the interest rate hikes. Thanks for watching, friends. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe. I would be happy to welcome you on this channel. It is a small but growing channel of illustrious and funny and cool crypto enthusiasts. So then, friends, have a nice day and see you tomorrow in the next update video. Bye!